Hi friends, thanks for tuning in. Join me please while I'm shuffling. Connect with your higher self and your guides. Tune in and ask them to join this reading and contribute their energy so that I can bring forward messages that are tailored and pertinent for you specifically. This is going to be a general energy reading for the collective. We're going to take a look at the general energies available for everyone at this time. This message is not timed, it's timeless. So whenever you find it, it's appropriate for you. If you resonate with the messages, take what you need. If you don't find anything in this reading that's for you, then it's not for you. Okay. The bottom of the deck, we have the King of Cups in reverse. So the major arcana cards that we have in this spread is the High Priestess upright in the foundation. The Sun is at the heart of the reading, also upright. We have the World upright and Temperance upright in these two quadrants of the spread. Now, my first feeling when I'm tuning into this energy of this reading is that there are things that are hidden at this time that will, over the course of events unfolding, become revealed and will become evident and clear as events transpire, is what I'm getting. So for right now, there may be some delusion, there may be some feeling threatened, there may be some confusion, there may be some disparity, there could be some hype here with the Page of Swords in reverse, some gossip, some excessive what's the right word for that? Speculation. That's what I feel with this Page of Swords in reverse. It's kind of a gossiping energy, but what I feel is that excessive speculation on things which people don't know all of the facts about. And that with this energy in this spread, what I'm feeling is that there is like a new energy uprising that has its own vitality. What I'm tuning into here with this card is this energy of the cloud here that's kind of rising up from the ground to the sky. Something is flourishing. Something is flourishing. And you may not understand the value of that thing at this time. That's what I feel. You may not understand the value of it, but something is flourishing. Something is growing and expanding and exponentiating. And it is having an effect on people in terms of a sense of safety, a feeling of safety. There's a feeling of threat here with these two sevens, Seven of Swords upright and the Seven of Cups reversed. So what I feel with these two cards is that there's a need here to be vigilant. There's a need here to be grounded and stable within the self, so that as this, again, there's this cloudy energy in this card here. In this Seven of Cups here, there's all this cloud energy it's mimicked and mirrored by this Ace of Wands card that has a lot of cloud in it too. What I feel with that is that there is, again, this energy of information being hidden or concealed, or that there is you may feel unable to see clearly right now what actually is happening. But that, again, the message from these cards with the High Priestess as well in the center of the bottom of the spread here is saying that there is something deeply mystical and metaphysical happening at this time, and that the truth of that experience is now currently concealed or hidden by shrouded, again, speculation is coming up. We don't know what we don't know right now. But it's important to remember to stay grounded, to stay calm, to stay safe. I'm getting this feeling of working behind the scenes with this Three of Pentacles here in this position of the spread. So staying in closed quarters is what I'm hearing, and working in private, working in private. This is interesting at the heart of the reading. The sun crossed by the Three of Cups. The challenge here, I feel, is to... This Three of Cups is about union and celebration and coming together. There's joy, but it's a social card. Community, communion. So that's the challenge right now, is to come together, but in a... funny, it's in a separate way. Coming together, but in a separate way. Here in this quadrant of the reading, we have the World upright with the Two of Wands in reverse. So we have the Ace of Wands upright in this quadrant with the Page of Swords reversed. And so oftentimes when I see Two of Wands in a reading, especially if it's in the reverse position, that tells me that there is a need to go back to the previous card in that series and look at what needs to be understood there first before you can move on to the next card or the next in the series, right? The Two of Wands reversed here with the World is saying that there isn't really a total closure yet. There is a closeness to an experience being closed out, but with the Two of Wands in reversed, it's not now. What's interesting also is that in the Two of Wands card, normally in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the character in the Two of Wands is actually holding the globe. He's holding the world usually. In this card, it's kind of an orb. But in the Rider-Waite deck, the Two of Wands character is holding the world in his hand, and here we have the World card in the upright position. So that's telling me that right now, the position that we all are in is that we're holding the future in our hands. It's up to us in terms of how we respond to circumstances and how we respond to the situations that we're facing individually and independently. The world is literally in our hands. Ten of Cups in reverse here at the crowning card position. Again, suggesting that there isn't a total closure yet. So that tens normally would reveal like an ending or a culmination, as does the World. But it's not now. It's not right now. I feel with the Temperance card here and the Queen of Swords, both in the upright, in the outcome position, along with the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is here in reverse. This is telling me that in time we will have understanding and clarity. For now, there's a need to maintain balance and poise and composure and calmness with the Temperance card. I feel that there's also a need here for individuals to understand that there is a higher intelligence, and that we need not be attached to certain outcomes with the idea that something is good or bad, or something is right or wrong, or that there is a kind of, from the perspective of a greater intelligence, a particular outcome that is correct or incorrect. That's not what's going on. That's not actually accurate. And the Six of Swords here in reverse, what do I feel here? It's something about returning to the past, returning to old ways somehow, but with a different vision of how it needs to be portrayed or expressed or experienced. There's something about going back into the memory as well, into the subconscious mind, accessing a greater understanding of what is in the unconscious mind that informs us, that provokes us, that drives us forward, and how to create a better feedback loop into the unconscious mind to pull forward information that drives us to create a better navigation system, one that is based on impressions that are actually accurate and not just memories that are skewed. Bottom of the deck, let's take a look. King of Cups reversed, Knight of Cups upright, Three of Swords, and the Emperor. So some emotional stagnancy or some emotional distress being given new life somehow. So perhaps some old memories or some experiences from the past that caused trauma or stress are now being able to be understood and healed in a certain way by an expression of a new kind of experience that is triggering a memory from the past. That's also what the Six of Swords is saying. But the ultimate goal or the ultimate purpose of the expression or the experience of an old trauma being relived is to establish a new sense of personal authority, to gain a certain kind of closure, and to establish a new seat of power and strength that is grounded in a clarity of understanding and vision and a mindfulness that is essentially real and not from a delusional space. There's a lot of energy in the cards here that's bringing me to the heart. That's reminding me that the heart needs to open. Look at these cards here. The heart here needs to open in order to find places where there has been darkness or stagnancy or shadow energy of trauma or pain that has been hidden away. So there's heart medicine in this experience here. There's heart medicine. There's healing for the heart. So there are 3 threes in this spread. That's telling me that there is a need for mind, body, and spirit awareness at this time. Always, of course, but in particular with the conditions that you may be under at the moment. There is a clear message here to pay attention to the connection between mind, body, and spirit, and also to care for all those areas, not just one. Don't focus your attention just on one thing, but perceive the energy as it plays out as an overarching kind of umbrella of experience and how it impresses each of those areas of your experience, mind, body, and spirit. Let's see if there's anything else here in this spread. These 2 sevens together here are very interesting to me. The 7 of Swords upright and the 7 of Cups in reverse. What I feel here is that there is some kind of experience happening where there is a sensation of treachery or dishonesty or disloyalty. And the 7 of Cups here is saying, be careful not to trick yourself into thinking that something is something without actually understanding more deeply what it really is. I know that's very vague and very abstract, but it's going to obviously affect each person in a very specific and unique way. What else is here? Discernment is really important at this time as well, with the Queen of Swords there in the outcome position. I feel like it's a very important time to be particularly mindful about what you say, how you say it, what you think, how you think it, why you think it. Be really clear. It's also about, I feel, cutting away of what's unnecessary, especially in those areas of thought and speech. Don't overspeak, don't overreact, don't overthink. Those are really important key aspects at this time to be mindful about. I'm hearing be vigilant. Be vigilant, especially about those things that I just mentioned, about speech and thought. In particular with this Page of Swords in reverse here, I feel there's a tendency for some, perhaps at this time, to overreact and overspeak and overthink and say things that are unnecessary and spread unnecessary concepts and ideas that are actually not really relevant. So be really mindful about that around this time. I love that the sun is at the heart of this reading. It's giving a lot of light and blessing to this spread, to the energy around this time. Hopeful. It's a hopeful energy. I think that it's also a reminder that sun energy is very healing, so take sun if you can. What else is here? Cleansing and purification. I'm just being drawn here now to the white flower in this card here of the Two of Wands. So purify and cleanse your space, yourself, your mind also. I'm hearing relax. Take time to relax. Take time to rest deeply. Tune into yourself. Meditate. It's all about awareness. It's all about awareness. Okay, let's move on to the higher octave spread with the Voyager deck now. Again, tune in with me while I shuffle and send your energy into the deck so I can get really clear messages, and so that you will actually be contributing your energy to this reading in order to get messages that are specific and pertinent for you. Send your energy into the deck now. There's the World at the bottom of the deck, also upright, so repeating energy. There's the Temperance again, so 2 repeating cards already. Woman of Crystals, there's the Queen of Swords. So the same 2 cards here that are in the outcome position are now at the heart of the spread. 10 of Wands, the Magician, Hermit reversed, Chariot reversed, Fool, wow, a lot of major arcana. Fool is reversed, 4 of Wands reversed, 9 of Pentacles reversed, 9 of Wands upright, the Star, 2 of Crystals reversed, Man of Crystals reversed, and 10 of Cups. That's interesting. Okay, let's tune in here. Again, the energy I'm feeling from this spread is one where what we perceive, because we have the Magician here at the foundation of this reading now. In the previous spread, we had the High Priestess. So there's this very mystical energy, very powerful, magnificent creator energy, but something other like extraordinary or supernatural. There's a supernatural energy in both spreads. One that's giving the feeling of there being like that's interesting. What I'm hearing now is there's oversoul. So some kind of energy of like a council of beings, or an energy of an oversoul of energies of a higher order. That's what I feel. Like what I'm tuning into now is like an energy of beings who are working together in a kind of unified, conscious way, that are sort of moving energy and orchestrating energy in a particular way to kind of stimulate growth. That's what this is here. There's a growth stimulation. But it's playing out in a way that, like, on the surface there is some distress because there are some sudden unexpected changes that are having an influence where people may feel some shock or disturbance, or like a sudden change in direction that is bringing some confusion. That was also there with the 7 of Cups in the previous spread. So what I feel in this reading is that there's this energy of like a higher authority that is helping to facilitate. That's what it is. It's a facilitation of a specific, what is it? Contract. It's a contract. So there's a contract that's being issued. Or no, that's not the right way. The contract has already been issued. Now it's time for that contract to be fulfilled, and that's what's happening at this time. The contract is being fulfilled, and maybe because it's happening on such a scale where there is this feeling of like otherworldly energy that's like facilitating or participating in it to help it bring it to fruition. There could be some energy of like shock or disbelief, or on the other hand of that, like there's also a wonderment that comes with it, like a feeling of protection and a feeling of like a greater power of energy that's coming together in this kind of cosmic orchestration. That's what it feels like to me. The Star and the Chariot here in this spread, also with the Magician and even the Temperance. There's an angelic presence that's facilitating a supernatural execution of a contract to closure. But it's like this sort of sweeping effect that it gets giving. What I'm seeing now in these cards that's really standing out to me, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can see these really small details up in the sky here, like satellites, or some kind of like something in the distance that seems small from where you stand, but actually if you were right beside it, it's actually very large and quite magnanimous and magnificent, and it has a lot of energy and a lot of pull. There's like a magnetic energy to it. Is influencing experiences in a way that is very profound and very it's actually very compassionate and loving, and it has a neutral energy. So there's, again, it's coming back to what we spoke about in the first reading. It's not about what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, what's correct or incorrect. There is just something playing out here that has to do with a closure or a fruition of a contract that was issued a long time ago, and there's a facilitation occurring. And for individuals and parties who are privy to or affected by, what's important here, we have 3 9s. In the previous reading we had 3 3s, which was talking about mind, body, spirit connection. Here what I feel with these 3 9s is that it's about individuals being independent in their own power, in their own entity, and maintaining their integrity and their responsibility to the events that are playing out, and being in a way, responsible is the best word that I can pull to kind of get close to the energy that I'm feeling with that. The responsibility of being whole, of being clear and in tune with what's going on, to be able to access the energy of the information that's coming in from a place of neutrality, from a place of sovereignty as well, from a place of independent wholeness, in order to help facilitate the closure that this other body, like this council of beings, is helping to facilitate in order to bring that contract to fruition. And so there is, with the world, with the universe being here at the bottom of the deck and in the previous spread, and here we have the Fool card in the reverse. So again, there's this feeling like the contract's not closed yet, but there is this critical point here where the demands, that's not the right word, the points of the clauses within that contract are now being called in, like the whatever's in that contract that was agreed to by all parties in whatever form, whatever dimension, whatever paradigm of energy that contract was created by the parties involved who agreed, is now being the energy is coming back around for those clauses to be completed so that the contract can get closed. So it just requires participation in a certain way, responsibility, participation, understanding that there is some a little shake-up energy here, like with the Fool reverse, the Four of Wands, Man of Crystals reverse, Chariot reverse. There's this kind of shake-up energy, and that's requiring people to, again, participate in the circumstances that are playing out to help facilitate the energy that's shifting. It's basically a major shift that's happening here to close out an old contract, an old cycle, an old entity, an old set of agreements that is now complete. So work with what's in front of you. Maintain your sense of wholeness, and I'm also hearing gratitude. I know that's kind of corny, but there's a need for discernment and like a quiet, calm mind to actually just deal with what you're dealing with, even if it's uncomfortable or inconvenient, and just continue to participate in facilitating the energies that are changing and transitioning. So again, bottom of the deck now we have the universe in this deck. It's the World card. Now we have Man of Wands in reverse. We have Man of Crystals here. So that's the King of Swords, King of Wands, both reversed. Here's Time, Space in reverse. It's Judgment. It's interesting. And now we have the Four of Worlds also in reverse. So again, there's this energy of transition, of discomfort, of shaking up a foundation, of shifting and transiting energies that need to be facilitated in order for this kind of experience to be kind of rinsed out. That's what I'm feeling, like a rinse out energy. 2 10s in the reading. So again, there is a point here where we are getting close to a culmination of a specific long-reaching cycle. Actually, is what I feel. It's a very long arc, and what we may be experiencing right now is a tiny speck of, I'm hearing induction. I don't know what that means. I'll just quickly look it up. the action or process of inducting someone to a position or an organization, the process or action of bringing about or giving rise to something, isolation, starvation, or other forms of stress induction, the inference of a general law of a particular instance, the production, this is a physics term, the production of an electric or magnetic state by the proximity without contact of an electrified or magnetized body. That seems to make sense. The production of an electric current in a conductor by varying the magnetic field applied to the conductor. So that touches the point for me that I feel like that they were giving me here, is that there's a shift in the magnetic field, basically. There's a shift in the magnetic field of the earth. That's what I feel in this energy. There's the entire global body is experiencing a magnetic energy shift, and the way that plays out is going to be different for each individual depending on what frequency you're operating at and what's in your field that needs to be transmuted. Like, if, as I said in the previous reading with that Three of Swords, that's what I was feeling there. If there's energy in your field that is shadowy or dark or stagnant, and needs to be exposed or revealed in order to kind of cleanse and purify, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. What else? What's interesting in this spread is that a lot of the major arcana are in reverse. So you have Hermit reversed, Chariot reversed, Time Space reversed, Fool reversed. There's a lot of major arcana energy in this reading. Of course, that means that this is a particularly powerful time of major movement of energy. A lot of facilitation is happening, and so it could feel, and that's why I feel these are reversed here, is that it could feel uncomfortable, it could feel inconvenient, it could feel painful even, it could feel really distressing. Like, uncomfortable is just like one end of the spectrum. You could be really in a difficult space right now. What's important to remember is to not struggle against what's happening, but to work with the facilitation that is actually supporting your alignment, your realignment, or your healing process. So stay in integrity. That's what I keep feeling there with the nines. Stay in integrity, stay in your personal space, stay in your own field, your own energetic field, and work with the energy that's coming in to help shift and shake up things that are maybe there have been in your energetic field for too long, that are not actually gonna be able to stay maintained in that space with this induction of energy that's coming in. It's interesting in this reading that in the previous spread we had, in this quadrant of hopes and fears, we had the Two of Wands in reverse, and in the second spread we have the Two of Swords in reverse. So there is a choice here that needs to be made. I know that's a very basic thing to say when you see the twos come out in tarot, but the point I want to make here is that you can choose. You can choose to transform. You can choose to help facilitate. You can choose to work with this induction energy of the magnetic field shifting and rise up to be reborn again in a way, in a whole new field of your own personal experience, and leave behind the old stuff. Or you can choose not to, and in choosing not to, you will just simply stay where you are and continue to struggle. If that's what you want, it's totally available to you. There's free will at play at all times. And again, the heart of the reading, we had the Queen of Swords. In the previous spread, we had her in the outcome. So again, this is telling me there's a need for utter discernment here, for real clarity, for the ability to perceive what needs to be sliced away, what needs to be cut through, what needs to be shed and removed, using utter stoicism, right? Be really pragmatic about what you're dealing with around this time. Don't overreact. Don't panic. Don't apply hype. Again, don't say what doesn't need to be said. Don't think what doesn't need to be thought. Don't waste your time on those endeavors. Deal with the task at hand. Use utter discernment. Use utter efficiency and precision at this time. Again, with this spread, there is the Temperance card in this reading. It was also in the previous reading. Again, there's this feeling also with the Star in the second spread. Now I feel there's this energy of otherworldly presence facilitating. Again, this brings me back to that angelic presence I was feeling earlier. Like, it's sort of a council of energy, a council of being, like an oversoul energy of what what humanity is, or what you are, who you are, that your oversoul group, your energetic oversoul group, like the part of your fractal nature that is already enlightened and evolved and has moved beyond this plane, is here facilitating for you to help in this process of evolving and with this induction of magnetic energy into the field to help shift the vibrational frequency of the nature of things. There's a lot of cosmic energy flooding in right now is what I feel. So work with that. Don't struggle against it. Don't resist the changes. That's what I feel with the Man of Swords here at the moment too. This King of Swords and the King of Swords and the King of Wands in reverse here. And then in the previous reading you had the King of Cups in reverse. So I feel with all this masculine energy that it maybe is a little bit emotionally immature and unstable and maybe unready for this level of commitment and this level of evolving and like stepping up into a greater level of responsibility and personal authority. This is what's shifting and changing. Out with the old. That's what I feel with this spread, very much so. Out with the old, in with the new. It's time to make space. It's time to make space. Let me see what else is here. Definitely a major shake-up. These fours reverses. That your foundation is getting shook. For those of you that have not been working really thoroughly and diligently on what needs to be extracted or removed, this could be a time where you may feel like that is happening to you, that things are being extracted from your life, that your foundation is being utterly shook. It's not something to fear or panic or be overly concerned about. What's important is to stay discerning, to stay precise and efficient in your practices, in your work, in your processes, in your daily routines, to continue to help facilitate this energy so that you can come through this time standing on 2 feet, with your integrity intact, with your spine upright. Your essence will never change, and I think that's what for some of you who may be struggling with this energy might feel. It's like your essence is not being removed from you, it's being enhanced by this process. So continue to work with what's happening and don't fear that you are losing yourself. You're not losing yourself, you're not going crazy. Just work with what's happening moment by moment. Just breathe, be discerning, be particular, be efficient, be mindful, be discerning. Practice pragmatism. Yeah, Ace of Crystals. So there is new clarity and more pristine and precise energy coming in. But there's a need for this kind of shifting, shaking up energy to kind of help establish a removal of what needs to go. And with that, I'm going to close out this reading. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some things in here you can work with, things you can use. I look forward to hearing your feedback and your comments in the section below. Let me know what's going on for you. And thank you so much for contributing your energy to this reading, for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I will see you in the next transmission.